NASCAR just received terrible news. NASCAR champion Kyle Larson, one of modern racing's most versatile talents, is beginning to look beyond the Cup Series and towards the hallowed grounds of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Larson is returning to Indy after a stunning debut in 2024, and this time, the consequences are far more than a one-off performance. Could the 2025 Indy 500 signal the end of Larson's NASCAR career? And what will NASCAR do if their self-proclaimed best driver in the world leaves? Will the consequences be too much to handle? Larson has always been a racer's racer, from his early days tearing up dirt tracks to his victory in the NASCAR Cup Series in 2021. He is fiercely competitive, flexible, and willing to test the boundaries. It's understandable that a challenge like IndyCar would intrigue him. What's more unexpected is how serious he's become about open-wheel racing, especially with NASCAR still in full gear. In my head, yeah, I'm going into this thinking it's at last for the time being. In the near future, the final Indy 500, Larson said. But I am still young. Maybe someday, when I'm not full-time Cup and I can really devote all my mind to Indy, I'd like to do it again. That statement got people's attention, because while drivers frequently switch disciplines, they rarely flirt with leaving one entirely behind. Larson isn't ruling anything out, but he also admits that the appeal of IndyCar is growing. His words boomed throughout both paddocks. On the one hand, NASCAR fans feared they were witnessing the end of Larson's full-time Cup career. On the other hand, IndyCar fans were buzzing with enthusiasm. Larson's arrival and potential full-time commitment could draw significant attention to the sport. If I happened to win the Indy 500, I'd probably just ride off into the sunset too, Larson had joked. It's not just ambition, it's a passion. The majesty of the Indianapolis 500, the traditions, the speed, the history, has made an impression on Larson that few other races can match. It's such a cool event. I think once you run it enough, you probably have a lot of FOMO, fear of missing out, and want to come back, he admitted. His return to the Speedway this year has been marked by the intensity and preparation that only a driver of Larson's caliber would invest. Nonetheless, the road has not been without challenges. Larson experienced his first major setback during Thursday's practice, colliding with the wall due to understeer in Turn 1 during a simulated qualifying lap. Just a bunch of understeer through Turn 1 and ran out of space off of Turn 1, Larson told reporters. Honestly, though I'm happy to crash my first Indy car and live through it. The response was lighthearted, but the gravity was obvious. He was testing the limits, and the limitations pushed back. Larson walked away unscathed, but the incident served as a learning experience. I think when you're going faster, it really stood out. So yeah, just a bummer, but also encouraging. Despite the collision, he had previously had a successful test day on Wednesday, clocking 67 laps and finished 11th on the timesheets. Engineers and other drivers appreciated his speed and agility. That was a bold statement. Larson is more than just a Cup driver experimenting in open wheel. He is a legitimate threat. The enormity of what he is attempting cannot be emphasized. Running the Indy 500 and NASCAR's Coca-Cola 600 on the same day, known as the Double, is a feat accomplished by just a few drivers, most notably Tony Stewart. Larson seeks a special place in history, but is that pursuit just the start of a larger shift? Insiders have argued that his growing dedication to IndyCar may indicate long-term plans. Larson thrives on new challenges, whether they involve hybrid steering controls, balancing discrepancies, or intense discipline. NASCAR's hefty stock cars are much different from the subtlety and precision necessary in an Indy car. But Larson sees it as evolution. It was good to go through ROP, Rookie Orientation Program, Larson noted. It feels a little different handling-wise because of the hybrid and the weight of that. It feels different. Not the same balance I felt last year. What is clear is that he is thinking beyond simply making the field. He wants to compete, win, and leave his mark. That suggests the mindset is shifting. For the time being, NASCAR serves as his home. However, there is a trace of restlessness, as if looking forward to a new legacy. In the 2024 Indy 500, he started 5th and finished 18th, with a late race speeding penalty derailing a possible top 10 result. Nonetheless, he earned Rookie of the Year honors and the respect of longtime Indianapolis fans. Now he wants more. Larson's Cup Series team, Hendrick Motorsports, is experiencing conflicting feelings during this ride. On the one side, Larson's increased visibility benefits their brand. On the other hand, balancing his schedule and potential injuries is an ongoing issue. Arrow McLaren, his IndyCar partner, is completely involved. They see Larson as a star who can help bridge the gap between NASCAR and IndyCar fan bases, a unique crossover figure who can offer mutual respect and attention to both series. And then there are the fans. NASCAR fans are holding their breath, fearing a gradual goodbye. Some applaud his ambition, others urge him to stay focused on Cup. But Larson, like usual, is on his own road. His words suggest a guy caught between two worlds, interested by what lay beyond the border. Maybe someday, when I'm not full-time Cup and I can really devote all my mind to Indy, I'd like to do it again, added the driver. What does this signify for 2026 and 2027? Will he pare back his NASCAR commitments? Will he switch series entirely? Will he find a way to cross both worlds? What is evident is that Kyle Larson is not merely experimenting. He's genuinely pondering what life after NASCAR might be like. And IndyCar, with its sheer speed and historic significance, is looking increasingly like the future. His next steps may be determined by May's outcomes. A win in the 2025 Indianapolis 500 would be career-defining. And, as Larson himself stated, it may be the ideal send-off. Everyone's attention is currently focused on Indianapolis. But make no mistake, Kyle Larson's racing story is moving gears, and the next chapter might begin with the words, "Gentlemen, start your engines." While Larson's IndyCar career is only beginning, the impact of his decision is already being felt throughout the NASCAR paddock. Whispers of change are evolving into conversations, and conversations become silent speculation. What if Kyle Larson, NASCAR's most electrifying driver, walked away? For many fans and industry insiders, the concept is almost sacrilegious. Larson, after all, is more than just a Cup Series winner. He's a generational talent, reminiscent of the days when racers raced anything, anywhere, and at any time. Dirt cars on Friday, Cup cars on Sunday, and finally, Indy cars in May. But what happens when one of these disciplines begins to require more of his soul than the others? Larson sees the Indianapolis 500 as more than just a race. It's a cathedral of speed, an almost supernatural experience that has sparked a new flame within him. He said it before, there's something magnetic about it. Once you're inside, it's difficult to leave. That gravitational attraction cannot be underestimated. This is especially true for racers who are continuously looking for new challenges. But a full-time IndyCar switch? It isn't as far-fetched as it originally appeared. Consider this. Larson is 31 years old, a Cup winner, and has nothing more to prove in stock cars. His legacy in NASCAR is assured. He might leave tomorrow and still be hailed as one of the finest natural talents to ever hold a steering wheel. But legacy is not synonymous with fulfillment. Then there's the temptation of being the bridge. Nobody in recent memory has been able to fully connect the dots between NASCAR and IndyCar the way Larson can. Tony Stewart experimented. Kurt Busch dipped his toe. What about Larson? He possesses the talent, charisma, and audience to blur the lines in a way that alters the landscape. What if Kyle Larson could do for IndyCar what Michael Jordan did for the NBA's global popularity? What if his appearance at the 500 isn't a one-time occurrence, but the beginning of a movement? From the outside, it appears that Hendrick Motorsports is still all in on Larson. But how long can they keep his heart in Cup when Indianapolis presents a new frontier? When the world's best drivers gather in May, does he feel like he belongs there as a fixture rather than a guest? It may not happen in 2025, but the seeds have been planted, the urge is real, and like with most things in racing, momentum is crucial. So fans should enjoy every NASCAR lap Larson takes this season. Because of the future, it might just be a lot more open wheel and a lot less stock vehicle.